Good morning, everyone. Happy day after Cinco de Mayo. I made my own tortilla chips like by hand for the first time in my life. I didn't look up a recipe or anything, so I just kept it pretty basic. I just put oil and salt, and so they weren't bursting with flavor or anything, but they were still surprisingly pretty addicting, and I ate them all, and now I have no more, so I'm kind of sad. So I need to make more. Anyway, I hope you had a nice Tuesday or Cinco de Mayo or whatever. Got some Chipotle, whatever. All right, so this is just gonna be a quickie, just to kind of talk about the trash audit analysis, and then on the second half of the video I will be giving some extra support for some of the analysis questions if you would like. And new friend to introduce today. This is the OG of my friends, my friends that I've been showing throughout these videos. This is Eddie, and got him when I was 7. My parents gave him to me for Valentine's Day, and I don't really know what was so particular about it, because they've given me a lot of different stuffed animal things for Valentine's Day over the course of my childhood, but for whatever reason Eddie particularly became very special to me, and I took him everywhere. If I had a sleepover at my cousin's house, Eddie came with me. If I was going to outdoor ed, Eddie came with me. So naturally he's still here in my apartment. He's part of the family forever. My husband just has to live with it. So anyway, the other thing is, check, if you have not already, check your email or Canvas or whatever. Mr. Wang had sent out some instructions about the Google form for turning in Unit 6 and 7 notebook check. Try to submit that by Friday, just so it kind of spaces out the submissions that we're receiving so that we can grade and kind of not go crazy. Okay, great. All right, moving on to trash audit. So today or tomorrow, kind of depending on when you started your trash audit, you should be finishing it. It takes a week, so if you started on the weekend, you need to keep going until the weekend. If you're starting it today, you need to go until a week from today. Because if you don't do it for a week, you're not gonna have it. It's just not gonna be as meaningful of an activity, and B, it's gonna make one of the analysis questions just kind of more difficult for yourself. Okay, so I'm finishing my trash audit tomorrow, because I've been doing it with you. And so the reason I chose this activity was because, first of all, I'm kind of focusing on when I'm talking about exploring our consumption habits, I'm kind of focusing on food, and then next week I'm going to focus on clothes for a little bit. And the reason is because everybody needs food. No matter what kind of family you come from or what background or different cultures that you have, everyone needs food, and everybody needs to interact with making food choices. So just kind of taking a look at how our food choices can have different impact sizes, I think it would be meaningful for everyone's lives, because everybody has to deal with making decisions about what kind of food should I get, how should I get my food, where should I get my food, etc., etc. And when I was first did my first trash audit, I was really surprised about how much stuff was in there, and a lot of it was food related, which is why we're doing this. Okay, so we're not going to learn anything from our trash audit unless we collect data. So that's why after you're done with your trash audit, you're going to do this analysis that looks like this, which I will post up. And so there's two kinds of data. We have quantitative data and qualitative data. If you have not heard those terms before, qualitative just means it's you're writing observations. So that would be question 1 in this analysis. By the way, by now I'm kind of assuming that you've read through this a little bit, so if you haven't, pause me, read through the questions, and then come back here. So in question 1, where I say, sort through the items and, categorize them, that would be qualitative data. You're kind of just writing, okay, we have a milk carton, we have a plastic bag or whatever. Like, you're just, qualitative data uses words more often, if you want to kind of think of it that way. Quantitative data is numbers. So it's like, can I put a measure on this, some sort of number here to measure something or say something? And you're going to be doing both kinds of data analysis in these questions. So if you've read through this, you will notice that I'm kind of being a little vague. I'm not being super like, do this exact thing. I'm not being super specific, and you may find that a little frustrating, but I totally did that on purpose. And I know that I'm not being very clear, because I really want this. Remember, I said that the whole point of this activity and all these activities that I'm having you do is for you to gain awareness about your own lifestyle. And because the point is for you to really explore your own lifestyle and habits, or the lifestyle and habits of your household, I want to kind of leave space so that students at different levels of engagement and different levels of curiosity can kind of, interact with these activities in a way that, so they don't feel like constrained. So like, if you are really into this activity and you're really curious, you're gonna go all the way. You're gonna find super creative ways to be analyzing your trash or whatnot. If you're kind of like, I have so much on my plate right now, I really like don't have the time to be like investing a lot of energy into this, you're gonna I don't want to say like do the minimum, but like kind of, it's not like a bad thing or anything. The point is that I understand that we're all at different places right now, and I want to encourage the like most maximum exploration. So in doing so, I'm kind of like not putting any like limits or specifics on it, so that if you really feel motivated, you're gonna probably just, do more, and that's okay. That's why I left it kind of vague. Okay, so if you're okay with that, and you have the space and the capacity to be, working with that kind of vagueness, you're fine. You don't need to watch the rest of this. And I'm assuming like you've read through the questions, you're okay. If you've read through the questions and you're like, this is too vague, I can't handle this kind of non-specificity right now because my life is just too crazy, or you just read through it and you're like, I don't get it, and you need some direction, keep watching. Okay, so for question 1, you're categorizing your data, and notice that I say in a way that makes sense for your results. I wrote it that way for 2 reasons. 1, because of everything I just said about, trying to leave space for you to engage with your results as meaningfully as you can. 2, trash audits are very, very unique to each household. So, not every household is going to generate the same kind of trash. So let's say for me, maybe, let's say I had trash, and you're not going to know this until you kind of take all the items out of your trash audit bag and you kind of look through it and get an idea of what's in there. But let's say in mine, I had trash from food stuff, and then I had trash from like the office stuff, work stuff, anything that I would do at my desk, that kind of trash. And then I also had trash from like, like any like cosmetic or personal hygiene items that you run out of it at some point, like a toothpaste bottle. Like, let's say I ran out of toothpaste. Yesterday I had to change my shampoo bottle, so stuff like that. Let's say I had all 3 of those categories in pretty much equal amounts. Then I would categorize it that way: food, work/desk, and then personal hygiene. I might do it that way. Perfectly fine. Let's say I had a bunch of beverage bottles, like water bottles, soda bottles, those little Izzy thingies or whatever, and I had so much of like beverage stuff that it like, you know, was taking up half of my trash audit. Then I might say one category is beverage related items and another category is whatever else there is. So it's kind of dependent on what's actually in your bag, which is why I'm kind of, it doesn't seem fair for me to like make up categories because I don't know if that's really going to fit your data very well. That's why you have to look at it and kind of decide, okay, we've got some these kind of items and we have these kind of items and these kind of items, and then you make up your categories. And then I'm going to skip question 2 because I think that's pretty straightforward. Question 3 might be the most tricky one. I want you to, this is the quantitative data that we're talking about. I want a rate of trash in 1 year. Now, this is why I said it was very important to do this trash audit for a week, because if you don't do it for a week, you're going to make your math really hard. There's 52 weeks in a year, kind of. So whatever you kind of determine as your rate for this week, you can multiply by 52 and you get a year. Now, I was super vague about this because, again, this was mainly so that you can interact with this as much as you can, as much as you want. You can do it. You can explore making this kind of rate in whatever way you want. And again, it kind of depends on the items in your trash a little bit. Let's say, back to the beverage thing. Let's say I had a bunch of water bottles in my trash audit. And let's say I had 10 water bottles. So that's like, I went through 10 water bottles in 1 week. I might say, wow, that's a lot of water bottles in 1 week. That's more than one a day. And maybe I'd say, you know what, I'm going to figure out how many water bottles I'm throwing away in 1 year. That would be 520. So that's one way I could do it. Or I could be like, I want to know, like, maybe you have a scale at home or something, like a kitchen scale or something, and you're like, I want to weigh this. I want to see how many grams or pounds or whatever of trash we're throwing away every week, and kind of calculate how much trash is my household throwing away every year. You could do it in weight. You could do it in number of items. You could do it in like how much plastic. So I would say the simplest way, if you're really just like, I can't do this, like I just need to get this done, I would say the simplest would just be like, pick an item that was most common in your trash audit, like water bottles or something like that, and just like count them. It's like, oh, like this many in a week, and it would be this many in a year. I would say that would be the simplest. If you really want to engage with it, I would maybe try to do weight or size or something like that, or maybe just plastic. Maybe you want to just focus on how much plastic, how much, I don't know, non-plastic stuff or whatever. Or you could do it by, by location. Like, this is how much school supply stuff I'm throwing away every week or year or whatever. Or this is how much bathroom supply stuff I'm throwing away every week and year. So those are kind of some ideas. If you're still getting stuck on it, talk to me on Thursday and we can work through it. Okay? All right. Great. Have a good Wednesday. I'll see you tomorrow. Super excited to talk about our trash audits. I'll look through mine tomorrow and I'll tell you about mine. All right. Bye.